in hopes that we would say it first, but truth must be told. Here we go with this freezer. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. They reset my computer, so I know what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna switch. If they lagging me still, y'all, we got Chief Pontiac in the building. Can you hear me, Chief?
I hear you loud and clear, young elder. I hear you
Oh yeah,
loud
I'm
and clear.
saying, man, we about to, hey man, they been waiting on this one. They've been anticipating this one. You went on a vacation for them. They was like, hey man, we and Rod coming back, man. We need an update. You know, man, we going, we walking in the dark here, man. We need to know what these guys up to. We need to see some of their moves. Now, I got some critical questions to lead up into. We're gonna take just really a Q&A for y'all, for all the people that's in. So gonna be a lot of people on here tonight. It's really a Q&A, but I got a couple questions tied into the paradigm that's going around now, religious paradigm, and then we can get into most stuff. But I got a couple questions, heavy duty joints. So we can go and get it cracking unless you gotta say something to the people before we get started, making any announcements or anything about other
I'm
stuff you got going on. We can
I'm
go and get it cracking.
I'm gonna let you start off. I do have a message, but I gotta wait for Tahuti to come back on land because he got a message he want me to deliver. So, but
All right.
so we can go and let you set it on off.
All right. So this is the first question for you. Now, the God concept, the white God concept, because I'm starting to realize. Can you hear me? I'm starting to realize that the Greeks were Nubians. The Greeks were Nubians. So I know they didn't have Zeus. They had Zeus as a god. Then they didn't have Zeus as a pale face. So when did the pale face God concept, from your perspective, come about? Because I don't think this pale God concept is older than 500 years. It may be less than that. You got anything on that? The pale God
Yeah,
concept.
you're absolutely correct. So, as part of the Conjure War, right? One of the things that they had to do was whitewash the historical figures, and the ones that was the focus of whitewashing was men of power, divinities, but they didn't just whitewash them. They masculinized the divine feminine.
Okay.
That's worse than whitewashing.
Yeah, that's scary right there.
Most of the ones, like Zeus is not the founder of the Greek civilization. Odin ain't the founder of the Greek civilization. The Greek civilization was founded by Athena.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Athena is told in the story as Medusa, but we don't know what the word Medusa means. Medu is 10 in Egypt.
Go ahead.
Sa is a specific priesthood of matriarchal, they call them birth priestesses, doulas, and oracles. They oracles and they doulas. So when you saying Medusa, you saying she is rank number 10, which is the highest rank. That means her alpha met her omega on her masculine and feminine side. Right? So she's Medu of the Sa priestesses. The Sa priestesses that went into Greece was called Gorgons by the Greeks. Right? But in Egypt, they was just the priestesses of the Sa priesthood.
Go ahead.
Right, they built the first civilization began in Greece in Eurocentric ideology on the island of Crete around 326 BC. Right, so the founders of the Greco-Roman Empire was women. They were usurped under Alexander by the masculine gender.
Okay, that makes sense. Go ahead. I'm with it.
Right. That's why now remember, they said Alexander conquered the world. Remember? He's known in the European history as the Great Conqueror. But he got his ass whooped by the Candace Queens, and he refused to go face them again in what we call Ethiopia today and Somalia.
Right. I heard. Yeah, they never did conquer Ethiopia. That's right.
How did he conquer the world? they wasn't talking about right now. But we think because it was written back then, they saying Alexander conquered the world back then.
Go ahead.
But when you follow his tracks, where did he go when he fought the wars? Right?
He went, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, now he tried to unify Greece, right? The Spartans was like, we ain't with you homosexual, twisted-minded, demented boy lovers, right?
Right.
So he couldn't unify Greece because it was too many of the other tribes that didn't believe in a homosexual culture. This is a critical part to history. This is why most of the royal family, you thinking they women, they was drag queens the whole time.
The Mona Lisa connect with that, don't it? The Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa is the feminine depiction of Leonardo da Vinci.
Go ahead.
Okay, but we get back to that another time.
Yeah.
Now, what happened was he went into the Indus Valley and he recovered something called the Scrolls of Destiny. You remember from your Nuwabian studies, what did Humbaba do?
Humbaba is Tanush, right?
And he did what? What did he steal?
Well, actually, the dude that stole it, it was they say
Tanush?
Humbaba stole it, but Humbaba's son, another guy, one of his henchmen, his name was Anzu. Anzu stole the tablets, but Humbaba.
What was the name of the tablets he stole?
Tablets of Destiny is what they said called them.
Okay, now why are they called the Tablets of Destiny?
Well, I got a lot of perspectives on now that I then went more in depth on the Anunnakis, because to me, a Tablets of Destiny now, based on it was some kind of device that Enlil had that he could control the period.
It's psychological and sociological manipulation of mass groups of people using something called we call it today religion.
Go ahead. You could say he was doing it with that machine. He had some kind of.
It wasn't a machine. It was an instructional manual on mass governing of the world. It's the tablets that the guys use. They pass it from father to son.
Okay, yeah. So we saying the same thing. I'm gonna tell you. Okay, we saying the same exact thing because
you keep saying it's a device, but the reason you saying it's a device because it was a computer disk that goes into a computer. And it was a PDF file on the disk that they sit there and read. Yeah. So anyway, that's what he did. Okay, so now Rome used Alexander to conquer Greece. And this is how Zeus got into the the Grecian pantheon as their ruler. When you go back and study the history of Alexander, he was the son of who? He was the son of Zeus.
Yeah.
That's what they tell you. They tell you flat out, Alexander was the son of Zeus. What's the story of Alexander's conception? It's in your New Testament, so it shouldn't be hard to figure out. Zeus came in as a shadowy figure and overshadowed his mother. What that mean?
Same thing as the Holy Ghost.
This is the Holy Ghost. The Holy Ghost been Zeus the whole time. And the rightful heir is not the son. The rightful heir is the mother.
Go ahead.
All right. Now, he go into Greece, into the Indus Valley, and the Vedics is the ones that's the keepers of the tablets. Right? Not the Aryan Vedics that they putting up as the royal families now, but the ones they call Dravidians. Right? Now, remember, where else did you hear that word Dravidian? Do you remember? It's in recent history in the last 30 years. Think Texas.
In Texas.
Think Texas, and then look at the comments and watch how many people tell you who it is.
Dravidians, Texas. Yeah, that's interesting. Somebody drop it in the chat, man. Drop the clue in the chat.
This good one, Elder. So look, who was the branch Dravidians?
Waco,
yeah. Branch Dravidians. That's
shout out to
because,
Mark Cooper,
right.
man.
So now they did what's called video editing to condemn this man so that they could execute him and his family.
Go ahead.
In you ever heard of the Art Bell show?
Art Bell, nope.
Art Bell used to have a show that used to come on in the middle of the night, and they used to be like truth seekers and dropping the truth. He used to always have my man that wrote Beheld the Pale Horse, William Cooper, used to always be on there.
Okay.
Jordan Maxwell used to always be on there. So so they sitting there talking about David Koresh claimed to be Jesus Christ, right? So William Cooper was on there one day. He said, have you ever rewind the video about 30 seconds before he said he's Jesus Christ? Right. And Art Bell was like, no. So they rewinded the video, the audio 30 seconds before he said, I am Jesus Christ. He said, now you got the government running around saying that I said, I am Jesus Christ. And then they only use that one part where he's saying, I am Jesus Christ in the regular media, talking about fake news.
Go ahead.
Okay, now, the whole purpose of this is anybody that claimed to be the Christ, the chosen one, the divine sent into physical form to redeem humanity from all of its wicked ways, and it's a man, they automatically know he a fraud. He automatically exposed as a fraud. They don't even have to second guess it. Why? Because they know that the real one that's coming, the chosen one, is the great mother return. Right? So anybody that's professing to be the Christ and it's a man, every government on earth know this nigga faking. He a fraud, he a fake. He ain't, because he ain't no woman, he can't be the righteous one. The only way that a man can be the one is if he telling you that the woman is the original God of earth. If he ain't telling you that, they automatically know you a fraud.
That's why I said if somebody comes saying it, don't believe them.
Yep. Many shall come in my name saying I cast out devils, heal the sick, and raise the dead, all in your name. And I say, get thee hence, I know you not, ye workers of iniquity. Ain't that what it say?
Yeah.
Who are the workers of iniquity? What is iniquity? That's that bathtub full of bullshit that you throw out with the baby when the baby ain't right.
Right.
Yeah, they get off to a good start, man.
You know, I already know this one to get lit. This right here, we're gonna have 1,500 people up in this joint in a minute. It's gonna get lit. Hey, this is my next question for you, because we know that. So they pumped this pale face God concept on to us. Now we knowing that it had to be some black hand guys that was in on this pumping this on to us. The guys that look like us, but ain't us. Now when the black conquistadors, I'm understanding that there was no Christianity over here prior to
1492.
Yeah, prior to 1492. I mean, we probably could say before, even after that, it wasn't even over here to way after that till 1500s to the conquistadors. Really, the conquistadors, you can say they came Cortez. I mean, not Cortez. Christopher could have been connected with them guys, but they didn't come. They didn't come directly then in 1492 and bastardize us.
Look. We had interactions in the Americas long before Columbus's voyage with Nordics. They called them Vikings. They was given the charter to ride the land as nomads. Today, you know them as outlaw bikers.
Go ahead.
The reason why they call outlaw bikers is because they knew not to do treaties with the settlers.
Go ahead.
Any tribe that don't do treaties with the settlers is an outlaw.
Go ahead.
He's outside of his legal jurisdictional claims. But now his goal is to force you, whether you want to be or not, to fall under his jurisdiction in order to him to win by conquest.
Go ahead.
But as long as there's a rebellious faction of one individual that can tell the story, they can't win. So you seeing Hell's Angels, Los Diablos, and all these other biker cliques, and they all outlaw MC Mother Charter, 13, Queen Mother. They all MC 13 certified, or them bikers is going to ride down on their ass in mass. You can't. The bikers ain't like Vice Lords and GDs and all of them. Somebody can claim your set, wear your clothes, dress up like you, but don't be from nowhere you know nobody from.
Right.
Right? It ain't like that with the bikers. If you come out there and you trying to start a biker set, matter of fact, don't believe me. Go to Google. Go to YouTube. Type in Rough Riders meets Hell's Angels and find out what happened. They gonna give you the whole rundown. So the Rough Riders got to get the okay from an established MC13, a mother charter, Queen Mother certified biker clan before they can be riding around as a biker club, or else they gonna get crushed.
That's right.
It used to be that way. This is where all of your street gang violence originated from for people that was called false flagging. Right? You supposed to be a vice lord, but you coming into a GD neighborhood, you flip your cap to the right like you ain't no vice lord, and then somebody recognize you, you getting mollywopped.
Right.
Okay, now this all go back to the strategy and tactics of the invaders.
Go ahead.
Right? Look at the Big U case. The police gave a gold badge to a rolling 60 named 600.
Go ahead. Big 600.
We just got done going over how they infiltrate, how they hire people from the hood to go in and pretend to be what they ain't, and all the time they working as agents for the police. They Lawrence Fishburne deep cover. If the shit goes south, they gonna leave his ass to burn. So many undercover. What really exposed it was the 91 riots after the Rodney King situation. Was it 91, 92? When those riots kicked off, a lot of the sets was establishing truces. And this one blood set was chilling with a Crip set because they was trying to put their beef aside. And the blood set is over there when these dudes roll up talking about calling they set out before they start shooting up the party. But the Bloods that was there said, that ain't ours. Them not our guys. I don't know who they is, but they screaming our set. They said, they tell the Crips, fall back. We got this. They shoot the car up. Guys in the car get shot. They dip out. They find the car some blocks away. It's a stolen vehicle, right? But they find the dudes that got shot in the hospital. One is two of them was a crash task force agents. One of them was an FBI agent.
I read over this before. Go ahead.
You know, so we know what they do. Now they using skin masks. When we was first saying they was using skin masks, we got laughed at.
Yeah, that's right.
We got laughed at. They called us crazy. But now the FBI agents that was part of the team that created the skin mask came out and did a whole briefing on the skin mask. So we wasn't crazy all the time.
And Master P showed us in that movie. I got the hookup. He showed us that the FBI was wearing skin masks in that movie. And I got the hookup. Part 1. Yep. They were wearing skin masks in that movie. So, hey, look, let me ask you this, Rod. So leading up to now that we have found out about these guys and the guys who really was puppeting the whole thing from the background, and they know about us, are they getting the hell on? Or are they gonna still try to come up with another plan to reconfigure the Conjure? Are they going because
the Conjure's closed.
The Conjure's closed, right?
Yeah, that's why everybody waking up now.
Okay, that's right.
The only thing we needed to do was expose the nature of and origin of the Conjure to the public for it to be exposed. Once it's exposed, it loses its power fast.
Go ahead.
Right? Nobody didn't say Crispus Attucks' blood was used to write the secondary constitution before Rod Hayes came around and told us.
Yeah.
Why the hell do I even know? I ain't never been in a Masonic lodge in my life. How the hell do I know?
Right.
Then when I showed where Garvey found it, and he was like, even if it take 200 years, they not gonna win. And I'm telling you, Garvey read the ledgers. He had an army ready for war, but when he seen what was in the ledger, he knew it was a casual war. He knew that if he went and took him to bloody war again, like we did in 1812, they get another extension. We don't want to have no more extensions.
Right. It's deep.
Right? So all of this stuff is the ones with the blood right is responsible to wake up the rest of the ones with the blood right. What do we mean by blood right, Elder?
The blood
We
right.
talking about the natural hereditary right of a bloodline to govern over a specific geographical area of land on the planet Earth.
Go ahead.
The bloodlines was created before your kings and emperors. It was created alongside and in accompanying the children of the Great Mother, which all came through women through matriarchal lines.
Go ahead.
Right? Blood began to diversify. And this is where you get your ABO blood groupings from. Right? The original blood is Omega blood. They call it O blood. They don't tell you O stand for Omega because the buck stops with Big Mama.
Go ahead.
Right? So now that you got your AB, your A in positive and negative, now you tending to think that it's the O blood don't matter no more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Original blood gonna always matter when it comes to the offspring of a mother with original blood, because one of them children is gonna come along and tell you what happened, who did it, where they came from, why they did it, what was their intent, and gonna bring the receipts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is my next question, because we got so now, man, it seems like to me that everything is going up. They study, like they putting a crunch on us with the money game, because like I know we saying that the system is going out, but we still having some kind of way deal in this system with a monetary system, right? Now, I noticed that they're starting to inflate us. They going up on rent, they going up on everything, but then they going down on our hours and pay. So what do you think the ultimate goal of this inflation, this whatever it is, how they putting the crunch on us, man? What do you think? How long you think this gonna last? We gonna have to regroup and come up out the system and try something else before they put the crunch all the way down on us? You know, with the inflation.
Look, all of those things are what you call leverage tools. The only purpose. Okay, anytime you start to reevaluate your currency, it causes an inflation spike. Anytime you just ordering it alone causes an inflation, a price hike.
That makes
right.
sense.
It's just a natural order of business that they created. Mm-hmm. Now, you're gonna have what they call a recession. Right? First, you're gonna have the depression comes from the spiked inflation. Then people stop spending money, which causes them, they try to lower prices to get them back into circulating the money again. Causes a recession. Prices go down, people, cost of living, jobs start paying more, anything to get you to spend money. The reason that is because once you stop spending the money and stop circulating, the value starts to rapidly decrease. This is why they send it overseas and let it come back home rather than spend it at home and expand it overseas. They take our money and spend it overseas. This is what the whole Doge team is uncovering. Trillions of dollars spent all over the world, and only a couple of billion is spent at home.
That's right.
And it's insufficient in order to sustain the lifestyle of inequality for the people in the country. But that's okay because the people that's in charge ain't from here. Mm-hmm. They from Europe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, the people from Europe is sending all of the money to Europe, but they ain't the only ones. Right? These people originally came from Mount Hermon.
Go ahead. Somebody just wrote
They came from Mount Hermon, and this is the ground zero of Mount Zion or Mount Zion. We talking, they gave us the blueprint. They wasn't trying to give it to us. It was all done by a spark of lightning a crooked man walking on the land.
Go ahead.
He struck a rider off a horse. When they recovered the rider, he got the writing that he was trying to deliver in secret, and the secret is now exposed to the public.
Yeah.
Then they go into the denial phases. No Jews ever wrote that, but why do they all live practicing everything in the book? Don't tell me you ain't got nothing to do with it when it's describing your entire modus operandi from the time you came until the time your ass about to get kicked out. The next generation elder, these next generation now, all I had to do was get them to think and know who they was and show them where our elders already been telling us and tie it all together. What Malachi taught, what Bobby Hemmitt taught, what Elijah Muhammad taught, what Clarence 13X taught, what Yahweh ben Yahweh taught. Why Yahweh ben Yahweh doctrine as a Hebrew Israelite is different from Ben Ami doctrine as a Hebrew Israelite.
Go ahead.
Right? And both of them doctrines is different from the nation of Israel. They got all these different doctrines supposed to be the same thing, just like the church, denominations.
Right.
Because everybody got a piece, but nobody got the whole puzzle.
Right.
And they all gonna hold their piece back until somebody come along, and then they gonna slide that piece to him and say, see if this piece fit.
Right.
Right? So the hardest part of the puzzle to figure out was the black hand. The mystery of the black hand, the unseen hand, the hidden hand, was the niggas that Yakub left in charge of his grafted double. Right? That's the biggest part of it. Elijah got the biggest piece of the pie to give you. But that discipline of them FOI, don't no nigga want that discipline. These niggas are scared of discipline. If you try to give them some FOI style discipline in one of these other groups, they not going to be able to function. They going to panic. Mm-hmm. Right? Why they going to panic? Because now somebody teaching you to stand on your own, be ready to defend yourself at all times, but also how to be courteous to other people. They don't want that. They want to be derelicts, degenerates, victims. This is why the slave narrative is so hard for our minds to break, because as long as we see ourselves as a victim, we're going to keep getting victimized.
Right.
Everybody pushing that slave narrative, wherever y'all see them niggas that y'all need to throw a rock at them.
Right.
Hit them with a rotten egg. The slave narrative is only to take your prisoner of war status and turn you into a permanent victim instead of you realizing we ain't never stopped fighting in 500 years. How the hell you think we were slaves? We ain't never been no slave, because the narrative they give you tell you that the children of the women of a slave woman is a slave no matter who her father is. Right? So that means that once you a slave, always a slave, you can't break free. And as long as you can't break free, they got you mentally entrapped. You looking for reparations instead of birthright.
Right.
I don't want no reparations. I want birthright.
Go ahead. Talk to him, Rod.
I was born to be the motherfucking high chief of Turtle Island.
Go ahead.
On the leadership rulership line. I was not born to be a peasant. I wasn't born to be somebody begging that master table for some crumbs when he got my cake up there that he eating off of. No, flip this motherfucker over.
Go ahead.
Flip the table over. If I can't eat my own food, you can't have none either. And until we get out that slave mentality, them telling us we were slaves. This is why what's my man name, bro?
Ducateers?
It's the book. I can't remember the name of the book. If I remember the name of the book, the name of the author. But When We Were Kings, the name of the book, I believe it's the name of it. Right? Why would he even tell you when you was kings and then turn around and push a slave narrative? You can't be a king and a slave at the same time. You one or the other. You can be a prisoner of war and still be a king. You could be a prisoner of war and still be a general. You could be a prisoner of war and still be the prince, heir to the throne. You can be a prisoner of war and be every high-ranked official you ever seen, but you cannot be a slave and be any of that.
Go ahead.
A slave is a permanent servant status derived from Yugoslavians usurped by Moors. The Yugoslavians was the ones that we became known as slave. Slave is a Slav, and a Slav is from Yugoslavia.
Go ahead.
This is where they got their royal harems from, that they produce your Khazarians. Your Khazarians is a mulatto hybrid race. They a mixture of dirty Moors and European pale-faced Slavics.
Go ahead.
They love their sons that came from them because they carried themselves a little bit different than regular Moors, and they didn't act nothing like the Slavs they came from. So they gave him the banker rights. The banker ain't got no hereditary royal rights. He just got you can count my money, son. I'm gonna give you an important job. I'm gonna let you count my money. And if you count money long enough, you're gonna understand how money works.
Go ahead.
It's a book called Modern Money Mechanics. For all y'all say I don't got no references. Modern Money Mechanics was written by the Federal Reserve to tell them how the fractional reserve system was going to drain your pockets.
Gang.
Right? So once they got them, this is why they fighting in Israel, to keep them from fighting in Ukraine. Ukraine is Khazaria. These niggas don't read history, so they don't know that the war in what we call in the Middle East on the Gaza Strip is to keep everybody out of Ukraine.
Hey, now I got since you paused right there, I got another question for you.
Come on with it.
Cause this one right here, heavy duty, man. So on my research on studying the land, Mississippi come up a lot, man, as some kind of significant spot. Like Chicago is significant, but like Larry Hoover, Jeff Ford, the King David Boxtel, all these guys that went up to Chicago, they come out of Mississippi. And
because the old Mississippians is the last line of defense.
Go ahead. Could you go in on that? Why Mississippi is important? And go ahead.
Yeah, the Mississippian clans, which a whole bunch of us, a sub-tribe is Chickasaw. Those are sub-tribes of Mississippian. The Mississippian is the same as your Aztec, Olmec, Incas, and Mayas. We used to encompass the Fertile Crescent of the Americas after the meteor struck and formed the Gulf. That's how it became the Fertile Crescent. Just like it really wasn't no meteor, it really was a bomb. Just like the one that created the Mediterranean was a bomb.
Go ahead.
But they want to tell us it was meteors, and the people want to fall for the meteor story. So we gonna say it's a meteor, but it didn't change the fact that we was there when the meteor hit.
Right. Go ahead.
Okay. And the remnants of the remaining civilization went into South America, came into North America because they was displaced in the land. What we know as St. Bernard Parish was called a shelf. That means it was a piece of land with a whole bunch of water under it. So when they start bombing, they could sink St. Bernard Parish by putting a hole between the main land and the parish where it'll sink under the water. So they did it. Don't believe me? Go look up St. Bernard Parish. It's right there. They got churches there. How is it a church there if it's been sunk for thousands of years and wasn't no churches over here?
Right. Go ahead.
There were no churches over here until they started converting our cathedrals into churches.
Go ahead.
The cross is not a cross. The cross is a sword and a stone. Where that story come from, Elder? King Arthur.
Yeah,
Knights of the Round Table.
He can pull the sword out the stone.
Right. All that is what made him worthy to pull the sword out the stone.
I can't remember. That's been so long.
His blood right.
Yeah. Birthright, yeah.
So when you go back to the blood right, and then you understand the bloodlines of a holy grail, what is he talking about? These are the offspring of Jesus. Jesus is Isis, 12 daughters. They all women. It's going to be a woman that's going to bring it all around full circle. right? It's two women that was the big mamas of the land. One of them crossed over, so that left one remaining heir. The big mama off the red house was Empress Verdiasi. Now we got to go to the East Coast Blue House. We had to go to Empress Redbird, the next in line, right? And the heritable rights come through the woman. The land you can't sell land. All this old taxing on your property bullshit. That's all fraud. That's all fraud. They're not supposed to be able to take your land. Once Big Mama give you a plot of land, the only people can take it is your brother, your sister, or your children. Can't nobody else take it from you.
Go ahead.
But when you don't know your birthright, when you don't know your bloodline, you don't got to have no paperwork to know who you is. You got to know who you is more important than the paperwork.
Go ahead. Because
now it's going to light a fire under you, root chakra, that's going to rise up to find your crown chakra, right? And then you're going to speak up, throat chakra, and tell these people the truth, heart chakra. And it's going to hit them in a emotional context, your third chakra, right? And then they're going to tell it to their offspring, second chakra. Come on, man. It's all in alignment.
Go ahead.
It's all in alignment. The earth got chakras and we got chakras. And when our chakras talk to the earth chakras, we making some shit move.
Go ahead. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now where we at, the average Joe that thought he was from Africa is starting to realize, wait a minute, that story don't even make no effing sense.
Go ahead.
It don't make sense. They got millions of people over here. They said they killed us off. They killed us off on paper. They didn't kill us off in truth.
Paper genocide. Go ahead. Walter
right.
In the game.
And Andrew Jackson. Yep. Don't leave his punk ass out. Yeah. Then you remember, King George set up Georgia to be a buffer zone between the Spanish Armada fighting in Florida and the French Huguenots fighting in New Orleans. Because when we was fighting both sides. They got to cut us off from each other.
It is deep. Go ahead.
Georgia was never meant to be a state. It was supposed to be a buffer zone because when the real servants that they brought over here with them was escaping. Can you pull up the picture of the
it's probably gonna mess my computer up since I got a lot of stuff. Oh, I got a lot of files on my computer. I didn't get a chance to slide them to this hard drive. So I'll pull
it up. I'll pull it up just to show you. Okay. But look, they keep telling us that the nappy hair person in the Gullah Wars was the runaway. He wasn't the runaway slave.
Nah.
The runaway slave was the Mongolian.
Yeah, they call it the Seminole. So if he a runaway, he a Seminole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got another 5 question for you after this one too. After we get off this question, because I got about, man, it's a game that's going on that I'm seeing over here, especially about them letting people come over to this country and be born over here, and then they get more privileges than the original earth, the original land, like the original people that's over here. You know what I'm saying? Like I noticed it's a lot of foreigners that own a lot of stuff over here, like businesses, like houses, rent houses and all that. And they over here and they come over here and they get a leg up. They get a leg up starting out. They come over here and buy a house, cash. How's that happening when how's Nubians still struggling the way we struggling as a whole? When all these foreigners are coming over here and they just come right up over here, get a 10, 20,000 from the bank. Is that part of the plot against? Is that part of a plot against us?
Yeah.
To let everybody else get on but us?
They trying to overrun the land with foreigners so that we become the minority, but they can't never do it because what end up happening is anybody that get a drop of blood, now they become one of us.
Go ahead. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. They got the
trying to find this particular book about the Seminole Wars, Gullah Wars. It got a brother
Like
and
say,
a so-called Native American standing side by side.
go ahead.
And they telling us that the brother was the runaway. He wasn't a runaway slave. He wasn't the
Yeah, they
one
got that
that
on
had
the cover. They got that on the cover of the book called The Black Indians. You've seen it. Got that book I got a book called The Black Indians, and they got a brother on the front, and then they got one of those the brothers are Asian because they those
here you go right here.
The Black Indians, right? The cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that book.
Now, the person that don't know history, I think that when they talking about the runaway slave, they talking about that dude.
Yeah.
But this was the runaway slave. That's who they brought when they came as servants.
Right.
Right. Them the ones that they went taught. They set up schools to teach them how to mimic us.
Right.
Man, that's the biggest. Them the ones that they switched us out with on the Trail of Tears. That's why they all on reservations.
And in fact, the dude that's on that cover, Rod, he the chief. He's a chief of the Chickasaw. The dude that's on that cover, he's a chief of the Chickasaw tribe.
Mm-hmm. You talking about the brother with the suit on?
Yeah, he a chief of the Chickasaw tribe. The dude that they got on that cover.
Right. So, like I be telling people, they telling us they brought us from Africa. We ran away, and we were so hard to catch because we knew the land too well. How you gonna come from Africa and know America better than the motherfucker that been living here, keeping people in bondage for the last 80, 90, 100 years?
Go ahead.
That don't even make sense. And then they running away at like 12 and 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And they knowing how to navigate the land. Ain't no foreigner gonna know at 12, 13 years old gonna know how to navigate the land like that. I'm sorry, but it's not gonna happen. This is so much that goes into the fairy tales that they give us as history. You got to remember, the victors write the history. I didn't make that quote up.
Right.
If the victor is writing the history, what version of history is he gonna tell the people he's trying to oppress?
Right.
He gonna make them proud of their oppressor, proud of whatever governmental format they set up. Right? That's called patriarchal pride, or what they call patriotism.
Go ahead.
They want to take you from your motherland, tie you to a fatherland that's a foreigner.
Go ahead.
The fatherland don't determine heritable birthright land ownership. Where we get all the land from? Why are we the largest heritable landowners at the turn of the century of the 1900s?
Right.
And we brought from Africa. That don't even match.
Yeah. And how all these brothers got doctor's degrees back when people were a lot of these brothers had doctor's degrees back when people were supposed to be slaves and there wasn't no Nubian schools. That's what they telling us all this. But how these brothers got doctor's degrees? How's there a brother like Frederick Douglass during time like up high in the government? Like that, and they said that the Nubians were slaves. They don't, like, the storyline do not make sense. Like a lot of stuff they saying don't make sense. And also, Rod, how they gonna bring that many slaves on the boat over here, and that the boats wasn't even, the whole construct of you got to take 6 months to get over here. Where you get water from? If the water is salt water, like, it's a lot of stuff that just don't make sense.
Yeah, well, that's we know that it take 2 weeks to get from Europe. It take to get to the mainland United States. It take 2 weeks to get from Europe. It take 90 days to get from Northwest Africa over here. So you do the math. 2 weeks from Europe, 90 days Northwest Africa. Where these motherfuckers come from? When you look at it, Elder, they fighting all of these wars for these hundreds of years. They got prisoners of war that they putting into bondage. The prisoners of war that they putting into bondage is not coming from Africa.
Go ahead.
They pale-faced Europeans, hairy Europeans, which is the children of what we call the Enkiduites. Then they got Mongolians they fighting with. They got Huns. It's a book called Leadership Secrets of Attila the Hun, where he talk about doing student exchange with the Romans. The Romans became the Romanovs. We don't know nothing about them people. Wasn't no Romanovs over here.
Go ahead.
Wasn't no Etruscans over here. Wasn't no Christians or Muslims or Jews over here.
Go ahead.
Hebrews were. We was already here building pyramids as the great Atlan for eons.
That's my next
Eons.
shit for you too.
You know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, we get sacked, we fight a war, and the victors rewrite the history. Winston Churchill said the truth is so valuable, it must be carefully guarded by a ring of lies.
Mhm.
What is they lying about? Everything. Well, it's at the center that they're trying to cover up. If you don't know who you is, you forfeit your birthright. You can only lose your birthright by surrender, which is forfeiture,
Mhm.
right? Or the acquiescence at a defeat.
Hmm.
You just don't wake up and your birthright gone.
Mhm.
It's a process to take your birthright.
Right.
But as long as one person fighting with a heritable right to the land, and the fight is not always physical. See, we can think that the only way to fight for what's ours is to blow shit up, tear shit up, because that's how they came over here, blowing shit up, tearing shit up. The knowledge is king. In other words, the king is the one with the knowledge to tell you about the birthright.
Right.
The pretender to the throne is the heir. Right? The
Right.
heir is Heru, seeking
ahead.
to become Usir.
Go ahead.
Horus is trying to become Osiris. The son is trying to come to the reign as the father.
Go ahead.
You know, none of it worked without the permission of Offset.
Go ahead.
Right? So what do you got to do? You got to wake the people up. You got to master knock, guerrilla knock. Right? When you can't get it done, you call for the next in the line of descent. The next in the line behind Tupac, go back to the movie Black Panther. Who was the only one that T'Challa could allow to take the throne? The Gorilla King.
Mhm.
Right? That's because it's an order. And the order is played out as the holy drama. We reenact that BS on the ground, but we don't be knowing what we doing because we doing it autonomically. It's a subconscious resonance of the mind of the royal families to put everything back in order. The
Mhm.
job of the misfit is to try to keep us from finding the proper order.
Mhm.
When you get all of the kings that been displaced, you come in, you send your priest first. Why you send your priest first? That's called the soft sell. Priests don't get the job done. Now you got to send in a group of generals.
Go ahead.
The general don't get the job done. He got to bring you in the princes, the children of the father, the sons. When they don't get the job done, they got to call on daddy, the king.
Go ahead.
When the king don't get the job done, he called on the emperor. That's what made Haile Selassie have any value to us whatsoever.
Go ahead.
Because the king's got to call for the emperor. The emperor can't get the job done. Now he got to start calling on the gods.
Right.
This is how you conjure up them people that you can't stop. They don't stop. They just keep re-strategizing until they win. That's it. The gods don't play by the rules of man. They play by universal law. They don't play by your book law.
Right.
Your book law is contract law. That's the lowest form of law. Right? Contract law is designed to usurp your rulership. And we want all push this uniform commercial code contract law in at Phenom, and it's an illusion.
Go ahead.
The rightful heir don't need no paperwork.
Now,
The
my
rightful-
word is bond. The word is
That's
bond.
it. Husia, authoritative
Yeah.
utterance, exceptional insight.
Yeah.
Them people in DC sitting in them secret chambers know exactly who I am.
Go ahead.
Them niggas in them lodges, they know exactly who I am. They shocked because they didn't think it was real.
That's gonna be my next question. We going that way. That about the lodge and the Masons. We going that way.
Yeah, right. So they all know, they know who we are. They've been following us from birth.
Yeah.
I used to couldn't figure out why I can't get, I'm on the run from the police. I know they know where I'm at. Why these niggas ain't coming?
Right.
It's the process. They gotta allow you enough room or enough rope to hang yourself.
Yeah. They can't do it unless you make a deal with them. You make a deal
Yeah.
with them, they can come get you. See, look, that's
Well,
why they
no, they can come get you without the deal, but you have to trip and fall. You have to slip up.
Yeah.
You have to repeat. You have to repeat a mistake that you should have learned from.
That's right.
As long as you ain't repeating the mistake that you should have learned from, they can't touch you. It's a game of knowledge. And only the wise know how to play it. A damn fool will never figure it out.
Right. This is my next question for you, man. Because this always put my, like, I know a whole bunch of Masons, you know, and my granddad, everybody, man. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like I don't see what the Black Masons is a part of what's going down. I don't see what, like, I think they blind to it. They just, I don't think they fully totally I can't say aware. I don't know the Black Masons, where I say like the Prince of Halls and the other, like all the John E. Jones, all the Black lodges. I don't think they completely aware. I mean, they aware of it, of what, because some, they know what happened to us. But why would they go around walking around and knowing what happened to us, that we got our birthrights took, and then they won't say nothing, even if you made the oath? Like after a certain point, like, you know, you down with it. We got to say we gonna have to get on them too. We gonna have to get at them too, because you know what was going down, and you walking around and you just acting like you don't want to say nothing. So we're gonna have to do you too. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
When two heavyweight fighters get in the ring to fight, how come the boxing commission don't get in the ring and fight on one of their sides?
Because they get paid off both of them. You know what I'm saying?
The boxing commission's job is to watch the fight. They ain't supposed to participate.
Go ahead.
This fight is between fez-wearing Moors from Europe and feather-wearing chiefs from this land. It don't got nothing to do with them. We operative. They speculative. Everybody that goes to the lodge in Brotherhood, they all they speculative Masons. They don't have no keys.
Go ahead.
All their keys is broke, so they can't open no doors.
Go ahead.
Right? Now, if by chance an operative Mason stroll in there, all of them is in a panic, because we ain't supposed to go in the lodges.
Go ahead.
And they get into a panic. They got a scene from one of these movies. I think it was American Gods, where a birthright brother came in and sat down all of the pale faces that was the ones that was supposed to be running the show, because now the birthright elder then stepped in the building. Right. The reason that's important is because the only way that one of the chiefs or one of the dirty Moors that came over here to usurpers, we got to meet in the street. We got to meet in the street. We got to have a discussion. The lower the environment, the more valuable the discussion. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And once the discussion is had, it's about who better know who we are, you or me.
Right.
Right. And when the ones that don't know surrender, then that's how you knock them for their fez, or they knock you for your feathers.
Go ahead. Watch me.
Once this is done, because remember, the whole thing is to be master of masters, a self-raised master. You can't have no degrees.
Right.
You disqualified from the fight if you went through their system, because you are an educated fool.
Right.
But if you are educated, but you ain't nobody's fool, you ain't been to nobody's shoe to be put into this hellfire.
Go ahead.
Right. So what do? All of the rightful heirs that go through university, they got the pledge. They go Kappa, Omega, Sigma, Theta. Why do they use Greek alphabets?
Go ahead.
They use Greek alphabets because that's matriarchy. So as long as you don't know it's matriarchy, you think they're taking Greek culture. The Greek culture was given to them by Egypt.
Go ahead. It's a number system.
Mm-hmm. So It's a beta number system, an alpha beta system.
Yeah.
So all of the ones that pledge as a fraternal brother is a beta. That means he's a second. He ain't a first.
Go ahead.
Right? But then the ones who get blessed into the street organization, because some of us got blessed in at birth.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got what's called first right to the earth right, to reclaim the throne for Big Mama, put her back on her seat, so that we can all be living back like we was in Atlantis. This was only a temporary thing. America was going to come and go. America was just a war. It was a conclusion to a bloody war that became a conjure war.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And now we reenacting history in reverse, in real time. And we don't even know what we're looking at because we think we historians, but we don't know history in depth enough.
Mm-hmm.
I used to kick myself for reading all them damn books because I wouldn't have to deal with none of this shit. I could have been a regular buffoon walking around idiot like everybody else.
Right.
But
regular street thug.
Yeah. But because I decided to improve myself so I could be a better person, I didn't know I was gonna put me in the middle of this fight. I didn't want this. I didn't want none of this. I just wanted to be a better me for me and for my children. I wanted to be able to teach them how to navigate this system and be able to live their life comfortable. I didn't ever think that it was going to come down to me having to wake up all of these sleeping tribes that been rocked to sleep by this enemy.
Right.
And tracing them back, I kept blowing my own mind like, this the same niggas. Them the same niggas. Ain't none of these crackers. And this the thing that threw me for a loop, because when they first came, most of us don't know Columbus was a Negro. He was a Portuguese Jew. Right? Most of us don't know Pietro del Negro was the navigator, was a Portuguese black ass Jew.
Go ahead.
Most of us don't know
what his name means.
Most of us never realized that the Pope wears a yarmulke. They just called it something different.
Yeah, he do. They do.
Right.
They always.
And when you get done tracing the Jews back, they go through name changes that mean the same thing. They call themselves Jew because they was on the jewelry in Europe.
Go ahead.
Right? Who was the people on the jewelry in Europe? They were the ones that they called Hebrew or Israelites or Jacobites. Who was the Jacobites? The children of Jacob, who was renamed Israel to hide his identity. So the Jacobite is the usurper because the Jacob means usurper, underminer.
Yeah.
Well, who is he undermining? Well, according to the book, the Adama. Who is the Adama? The earthborn. They got these new Hebrews telling us that Edom, which is the same word as Adam, literally mean pale face, and that's not what it means.
Red man.
It don't mean that. It mean from the earth.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the only place I know where some people supposed to claim from some red dirt, because in Africa, they say that the African was from the black dirt of the Aswan.
Go ahead.
Right? But over here, we come from Mississippi clay dirt, red dirt.
Go ahead.
The Adama, the earthborn.
Copper tone.
Yeah. But the ones over there come from the black soil of the Aswan.
Go ahead.
But with those little details go by us because it's hidden in plain sight. Put it right in your face and you don't know what the meaning of the word is. You don't know what they're talking about. Right? Mm-hmm. The Chinese came from the Yellow River. What the Yellow River? What the fuck is you talking about? We came from the Red Mississippi River. The Africans came from the black soils of the Aswan, and the Asians came from the soil of the Yellow River.
Go ahead.
And we don't want to talk about that because now somebody got some splaining to do. It don't nobody want to be asking no questions because the scholars said we all came from Africa.
Yeah, but see, Elijah Muhammad pointed at what you just said about the other man. Elijah Muhammad pointed that out. You know, they didn't want to hear that when he pointed it out.
Yeah, so they got all of these different terminologies. They create word salad to confuse us. You know what I'm saying? They got us thinking that the Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans is a whole different group of people because they all speak Spanish and we speak English. They all the same as us. They just niggas just because there was the Spanish influence outweighed the English influence.
That's right. They speak the conquer language.
And the Haitians speak French. They don't speak French because that's their native language. They speak French because they was at war with the French. The French got the temporary upper hand so we can go fight this Conquer war. Let them think they won, baby. Because when we come back, we coming back for everything they owe. Somebody else said that.
Yeah. Hey, do you think that that they'll ever come clean about it at this point? Because it seems like now Trump is coming out saying a lot of things, and the certain people. But do you think they'll all come all the way clean and tell us, man, y'all been trading back and forth? We already know because we got the evidence that hey, it's corn on the wall in ancient Kemet, corn origin over here, so they had to been trading for like thousands of years with corn and watermelon and things and different things.
Listen,
so if you think they'll ever come clean, come out to say it, hey man, here's y'all was over here, y'all this people, they'll just come out and just lay it on us. That they ever come clean. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're gonna have to confess. Because there's too many of us that knows the truth now. There's too many of us can see through the charade. And the more we keep waking each other up, it's going to reach critical mass of an undeniable perspective where we know exactly who he is. We know exactly who we up against. We know exactly what to do. And here go the kicker. It's going to look like the worst case of black on black violence we ever seen. Because them niggas look like us, they ain't us. And we know how they move now. And they the ones, they families and they bloodlines been pulling the strings behind this BS the whole time.
Hey, should we prepare for economical crash? Because like on their money system, should we be prepared like to have a survival package or like for a couple months or wherever? Because we already know that the reset is coming, the switch where they leave. So what should we have to deal with it? Because if you can't use money, you can't use the ATM card. You can't get when they say, oh, you can't go to the ATM and get no money out. And then, so how do we, just in case that could possibly happen, economical system, I see it happening. It's got to happen for the switch to come over eventually. And it's got to be within this 4 years, I think, when Trump was in there. So if that could happen, an economical shutdown, what do you think that we would need to survive that economical shutdown? Because that could be crazy. Like if we go back like to the Great Depression, 1933, when Noble Drew Ali set them up and got the land back, they had to go and regroup, man. So if you take something like that,
Noble Drew Ali could never reclaim the land. He had to point it to the rightful tribal mother.
Yeah.
And she could reclaim the land because she got birthright.
Yeah.
He got enforcement right. He had to go dig it out and say, okay, Big Mama, this who did it. Yeah. This where they at, right? And if the mother reclaimed, like for instance, Empress Verdiasi reclaimed the land, but she didn't have an enforcement branch. Mm-hmm. All her enforcers was locked up. Angel Bay, Big Tookie, Larry Hoover, Big Booney Black, all of the ones that the COINTEL rounded up was her enforcement arms. Yeah. They cut off all her enforcement arms. So now she can't make them do nothing no more.
Right.
because all of the ones that were supposed to enforce her jurisdictional supremacy has been removed from the land.
Go ahead.
They've been put in bond servant status as POWs, right? Or they was just flat out executed because they was about that life.
Go ahead.
You know, they couldn't corrupt them like Giant Africa from the MOVE movement. Joseph Senku, he did exactly the opposite of what they told him to do.
Go ahead.
You know, then you got like Asada, her territory is the New Jersey area.
Go ahead.
Right? But all of the people that was there, but didn't nobody understand the law enough and politics and who was pulling the strings well enough to reclaim her territory. So you got all this is going on. The tribes is scrambling, trying to get somebody to buckle down in the books.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they already knew that everything that they was doing, they wrote about it.
Right.
Right. Because part of their agreement for them to stay in power is they had to keep a meticulous record. Why do you think you can go pull up something on an animal from this land and it'll give you a whole lengthy discussion, but they don't talk about the people?
Right.
With the same lengthy discussion. They want us to, the dirty Moors want us to believe that we was all Moors. Well, which tribe acknowledged the Moors? Right? Because no tribe called themselves Moor. Right? The closest tribe to the name is the Amaru.
Go ahead.
Right? And the Moray.
Yeah.
Two different tribes, two different locations, but they didn't identify with them people called conquistadors. They didn't identify with Huguenots, so they didn't identify with the common term Moor. Right? So if the Moors was on the land, they would have been designated a geographical stretch of land to operate on and operate from. Right? So if you ask any Moor, righteous Moor, dirty Moor, don't matter who was the lawgiver, what they gonna tell you? It's the elves. The elves is the lawgivers. What do that mean? Trace back the copyright to all the law books. They all copyright in London. That ought to tell you enough right there.
Go ahead.
Right? If all of the law books is copyrighted in London, that means anybody that benefit from the law has to be paying London.
Go ahead.
Right? So where is the barrister's charter? The first barrister charter was given in Savannah, Georgia by King George. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere.
Go ahead.
So who's the lawgivers? Right? All of the laws in America is codified by barristers. We didn't have barristers. We had people like Malachi was a Miku. Mm-hmm. They translated into English as chief. Mm-hmm. Right? And it's a whole bunch of other words because nobody called their leader the same thing. It's the generic term chief cover all of the different types of leaders that we had on the land. We had leaders in charge of stuff like folding blankets. Mm-hmm. If the blanket ain't fold right, the leader come in and say, hey, you got to refold that. Mm-hmm. Everything was a priesthood because everything was done with the reverence for the great mother while you doing it. That's why we did everything with so much conviction and so much fervor reverence.
What they call soul.
Yep.
They put his soul. He cooked that soul food, or that's he put his soul into that.
Yep.
Just like the soul, and that's why they take the sole of your foot when you're born to steal your birthrights. When you're a baby in the hospital, they put take a copy of your footprint.
Soul plate. That's what that's called. But this whole thing is, I done went through the war from so many different angles to try to get people to see what's taking place. Like, it ain't what y'all think. Racism is a tool. Racism is founded upon the fallacy, on what they call a scientific fallacy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? The Outer Africa theory is questionable because we have older artifacts over here than they have in Africa. We got older pyramids over here than they do in Africa. So even if everybody did come from Africa, civilization came from here.
Go ahead.
Then all of the humans on Earth, the carbon molecule that they made of is corn. Well, we the only ones was doing anything with corn. We created it.
Yep.
So then that must have been before we took on the human body, the avatar of a hominid. Somebody was in the laboratory with the corn saying this would be a good carbon to filter the melanin in order to get maximum output from the crystalline amino acids that form the DNA.
Yeah, you just said some heavy duty scientific jargon right there.
Yeah, but they don't want to talk about none of that because that's the type of stuff like the oldest, like they tell us Lucy was the oldest hominid found. Lucy wasn't even a human. She was something called proconsul.
Go ahead.
She wasn't even human. So she could have just as well been the oldest chimpanzee as she could the oldest human in equal proportion, truthfully speaking. But the oldest intact human was a sister found in the Carolinas. Let that sink in.
Go ahead.
So they telling us what they want us to believe instead of telling us the truth.
In facts. I'm telling
you know, so
in facts. Hey, so do you think now, so we know that Empress Rare Bird got they London offered her back up the paperwork and other things. Now, what's Trump? Is Trump connected with Empress Rare Bird? Do he even know anything about Empress Rare Bird? What's the connection with the? Go ahead.
Trump probably got a picture of me, her, and a couple more people on his desk in his private office.
I damn sure wish I did.
Look, he's the liquidator in chief.
That's right.
When you get ready to liquidate a company, you call in a specialist to execute the bankruptcy and to liquidate the assets and do what's called a full forensic audit of all assets that's overseas and wherever it's at, wherever the asset is. Now, once the assets is accounted for, then you give them what's called a portfolio. Now you know how much of your money was stolen, where did it go to, right? Then you know how much money you got on reserve, what you had to work with. Without the audits, they can't give you everything back.
Yeah, that's why they auditing right now. That's what's going on exactly right now.
Yeah, so before this is part of liquidation of assets. Remember, in 2008, they started appointing city managers everywhere that was liquidating city assets because all cities are corporations. Right? All corporations is subservient to the flesh and blood person.
Go ahead.
They don't want you to know that.
Yeah, damn, they damn so don't. They damn so don't.
Because once you realize that, you can restore tribal order to any city, but you need the whole city support. That's where the problem come in at. Because you got more people disillusioned about what's taking place on the land than you have that's in the know and aware and ready to do something about it. The youngsters, I'm kind of worried for them because I want them to organize before they strike. It's just a matter of time. If Trump take too long doing what he's doing, it's just a matter of time where you're gonna see millions of children. When I say children, 25 and under, taken to the streets to demand what's theirs.
Yeah, I see it happening.
They shouldn't have to do that because the guys in my age group and all the way down to the 25. So from 25 to 60, we supposed to be doing the information network to let them know who did it, where they at, how to recognize the enemy. We supposed to be doing all of the strategic investigation. The ones before me, they did all of the investigation research. Well, we got to find it. It's in books and places in books. So get a book called Secrets of the Temple about the Federal Reserve. And then you understand that the Federal Reserve don't even belong here, right? They had a blackout a couple of days ago in Puerto Rico. But we don't know that that's the home base for the IRS.
Go ahead. They reset up in Puerto Rico in what 18 something.
It's an IRS job. The IRS is like a private collection agency with we used to call them the knee breakers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, knee breaker come in with
services.
Yeah. So when they come in busting your kneecaps because you ain't paid the boss, right? This is the IRS.
Yeah.
Right. They sending people to prison without a victim. There's no crime when there's no victim.
Yeah.
Right. So they say that the whole other country is the victim. One person can't victimize the whole country. I'm sorry to tell you. You know, not as a direct victim. You could be an indirect victim, collateral damage, but you can't be the young elder versus the people of the United States of America by yourself.
Yeah.
Every court order say that. Every court warrant is the people of the state or the people of the U.S. versus this one individual.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That's an economically one-sided fight.
Yeah.
You cannot win.
Yeah.
Not only is it an economically one-sided fight, it's rigged.
Go ahead.
Because you're the only one in the fight that's not part of brotherhood.
Go ahead.
The brotherhood is the bar. Right? So judge is a bar member, prosecutor bar member, your lawyer is a bar member. What the fuck you doing there? I don't got no bar card. Why am I even in your affairs? Because to them, you the same as that file. This all you is to attorneys and prosecutors. You one of these.
Paperwork.
You're a book. You're a collection of data. That's it. People say, how can you fight for the death penalty? It's the same as fighting for burning the book to them.
Wow. That's it.
It's easy to fight to burn the book if you think it's some BS in the book. Why do we have a whole history of book burning sessions all over the world? Why is they burning up all the books?
Go ahead.
They told us they burned down Alexander. They didn't tell us that they took all of the critical books and put them under the Vatican, though.
Yeah.
We didn't know that they had created an underground tunnel that went from what they call Jerusalem all the way to the Vatican. We didn't know that.
Go ahead.
We discovered this in the last 40 years.
Yeah, the Masons know about it because Doc talk about that too.
Yeah. You know, and one of the most prolific researchers that we've had that put out more material than any one man can reasonably do is Malachi.
Mm-hmm.
But he knew because of what he was doing. He was like, it's just a matter of time before they come. They're not coming for me. I'm going to tell you why they're not coming for me, young elder.
Why?
They're not coming for me because I don't fit the pattern.
Yeah.
I don't fit the MO.
Yeah.
So they can't justify it to their brother. Most thing they can do is probably get some old trumped up warrant like a child support or driving with no license, traffic ticket warrant. Yeah. They can't get me on nothing serious.
Yeah.
Because I don't fit.
And I realize they ain't gonna waste their time on trying to get you nothing for nothing little no more. These guys, they like to get you on something they know they gonna have you down for have their finger with no grease on it up in your behind. They want to have you up in there, you know what I'm saying, dead to the left. They gotta have you all the way to the left when they get you. Right?
And that's why, but like that's why people don't understand when I tell them I can't do public function. They don't understand that. Mm-hmm. But the reason I can't do public functions is I got to stay outside of the pattern, outside of the war protocol. Right. I can't be just jumping up, going places with large groups of people because as soon as they classify you as an organizer, that's when the guillotine drops. Yeah. You know, and I don't have enough confidence that the people gonna come get me like Malachi did. Yeah. He had a whole lot of confidence in the Nuwaubians that they was going to figure out the correct keys to turn to get him free. Yeah. Right. And they some of them did some serious fighting, but more of them did some serious leeching, living off his legacy and don't want him to come home so they can continue to live off his legacy. Right. But he had a lot of confidence in the people that he gave all that knowledge to freely from his heart. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
yeah, man, that's repugnant. You know, that's real. That's belligerent to a leader.
Yeah.
And now the thing about bringing him home is they still want him dead because they want to live off his wealth, and they scared that he gonna cut him off when he come home. Mm-hmm. So now we gotta wait till everything is all the way turned around before we can get the man home, because his own people is saturated with agents.
Right. Right. They heavily infiltrated, man. Like, to me, he was like one of the most infiltrated because he had the most people besides the Nation of Islam. You know, Doc had a lot of people coming from all over the world, from Trinidad, Jamaica, from London. Like, you know, he's like, Doc was moving. If they wouldn't have got him at right then, like, he was spreading too fast. What he was doing was going too fast for him, you know, worldwide. They had to make an example. They had to tear his name down. They had to make him look like the worst thing they ever walked the earth. So people that wouldn't listen to him. You know, this is part of their tactic. You know, the COINTELPRO operations at the North Gate.
I got some files from a judge named Judge Bornstein. Mm-hmm. And he tell you why they use sex cases.
Go ahead.
The only evidence in the sex case is the allegation.
What?
The allegation is the evidence. It's the only case on the books where the allegation is the key evidence in the case.
Yeah. Oh, he touched me. That's on. Young gotta be.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. That's it. You don't even have to have ever been in the same room with that person, but the allegation is the key evidence.
Yeah, I know people that got doing time right now, and they ain't never don't even know the person, but they say, "Oh yeah, he fell on me," and then they in jail 5 years because of it.
Yep. Yeah. So
that happened to Tupac. They did the same thing to Tupac.
Yeah. So when you can't get him for some, like, you gotta remember, they tried to charge him with arson because the Sunnis threw Molotov cocktails in one of his buildings. Wow. And it was insured. So they tried to say that it was him and it was arson because his people wear jalabia and the Sunnis wear jalabia. Yeah. They don't know that the Sunnis can't stand the Ansarullah. Right. Because they exposing all of the fraud in their religious doctrine. And it's the same, they put a hit on Salman Rushdie for writing the satanic verses. Right? Yeah. They hit him out, but they didn't try to stop nobody from hitting him. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They didn't prosecute the people, the Shah, Iran, and a couple more Islamic leaders that put the hit on him. They didn't go in there and arrest their ass and lock them up for conspiracy to contract a murder. Right. They didn't do it. But that had been one of us. We would have been so deep under the penitentiary, we'd have been years trying to dig our way out. Once they got you, it's hard to get out. And if you got any sense, you're going to make it hard for them to get you again. But if you go watch the prison system, the average dude get out of prison, I think they put a boomerang in his back pocket because they be back within a couple of days sometime. Yeah. You know, and the worst thing I used to hear, I'll be sitting in there listening to a guy talk. He be like, yeah, on my last bit. What you mean on your last bit? How many bits you did? Oh, man. I done been down my knees about 7 times. Man, we just throwing your life away and then start playing.
Man, he might well live in jail.
Yeah, you know, but that used to traumatize me. There's so many guys in there and their conversation starting off, yeah, man, on my last bit. Yeah. I'm like, how you do this more than once? You can't do this. This is the dumbest BS in the world, man. How you do this more than once? Explain that to me.
Right. Hey, Rod, why is Nubians claiming Nubians in America specifically claiming their birthrights a threat to national security? Like, why would I know you probably answered this question 1,000 times. I probably said it, but could you go over why is us getting our birthrights back a threat to national security? You know what I'm saying?
Because to get our birthright back is to overthrow the legal fiction.
What? Go ahead.
The legal fiction is founded up on the appearance of legitimacy. It's not that it's legitimate. If they put enough uniforms on the ground, they look legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
It's the police state.
Mm-hmm.
We was the only people on the planet that had a mail delivery system. Everybody else had an individual courier.
Mm-hmm.
They told us it was the Pony Express and it was started by some pale faces, but we had been doing that for eons before they came.
Right.
You know, we had both the women telepathically talking to each other and the brothers, and you know, we out in taking the braves out to learn how to be men. We had to send messages back and report. This is where your Pony Express came from.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they had a certain amount of time to get the message to the big mama. This was going on. You know, you give her the whole accounting, the roll call, or who with you, you know, all that kind of stuff. And if you need supplies, they know how much supplies they got to see it.
Mm-hmm.
But this stuff right here we going through, this is the dumbest shit in the world to me, Elder.
Dang. Hey, when I studied the Clan Mother stuff, I put the Clan Mother tape out. I see that the Clan Mother had a spokesman. Big Mama had a spokesman. And I was saying that Whack 100 to me, he fit that description. Like he fit the description of one of the Red House spokesmen. Like how he be talking, how he be saying stuff.
I don't want to talk about him.
You know, like Whack because the big U thing, right?
Nope, it got nothing to do with Big U. I don't.
Why you don't like Whack?
Nope, I can't talk about Whack. I'd rather talk about Charleston White.
What about Charleston White? Charleston White is a spokesman for Big Mama?
Well, all of us is in one way or another.
Go ahead.
We either speaking up to make changes, or we speaking up to bring awareness to a certain topic or issue. So we all end up being their spokespersons. But some of us is the spokesperson for the enemy, and I don't want to give them no glory.
Go ahead. So you're saying Whack is he worked for the police. He police. Like Val, what's the name of it? Jumpman and all them.
Listen.
We go to the next question.
Yeah, let's go to the next question.
My next question that we have for you, brother. Now, being that the Killer Clowns, they de facto on, they liquidating all the assets. It seems like they pretty much but the cops seem like the cops still treating Nubians. They still out here, and I see the Nubians handled it in another way. They ain't being aggressive with the cops. They're like, man, hey, what you doing? Like, are you like you see what you doing? It's like the cops are doing they same intimidation tactics to Nubians, right? Like they pulling brothers over, want to pull them out the car, and just treating. But a lot of brothers now know their rights. They know more about what's, it ain't like it used to be back in the day where brothers didn't know what was going on. Brothers know about Fifth Amendment. Brothers know about all these rights. So why do you think the police is getting more, still running the same thing? And we know a lot of police is de facto because we don't even got police down here no more. We don't got none but sheriffs. But why do you think the police is cranking up, still going? It seems like to me it's only Pacific people within the force that's doing it. But why do you think that they still running this intimidation tactic on Nubians when they pull them over, man?
Well, the same reason the bully keep bullying the kids on the playground to somebody come along and stop them. See, if we was in our proper jurisdictional rollout, wherever you see somebody that got a police uniform and badge on, the sheriff supposed to arrest them for impersonating law enforcement.
Go ahead.
The sheriff not supposed to tolerate any police force on his jurisdictional land. The police are masquerading as law enforcement. They're not the law enforcement. They policy enforcers. They enforce policies of a corporation. The only elected official in law enforcement in any geography on this land, you got two. One is your sheriff,
Right, sure
and
is.
the other one is your United States Marshal, who
Right.
can only, he's appointed, but he's appointed by an elected official who's given the jurisdictional authority to appoint him.
Go ahead.
Every police is masquerading as law enforcement or imitating it. They all in violation of United States Code 1984.
They foreigners.
Dressing up under the color of law to intimidate the people of the land.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them don't. So they start thinking that they, by choosing people from the land to put on the force, they think that gives us, well, they give us the illusion that they're legitimate. But they handbook and protocols and they charters all that come from London, England.
Right.
And as long as we don't know that, they gonna keep doing what, even the ones of us that do have an idea, like how long the Rise of the Moors been locked up?
A while.
See, they know law.
Yeah, they know the law. They supposed to know it. Like
They don't know enough to get out of that huckabuck though. They still gotta hire a bar member.
That's crazy, man.
Right?
Like, why do they do the Moors like that though? The Moors
It's
be
war.
on point.
It's war. See, they don't think that if you calling yourself a Moor, they think that you only think you know who you is and you don't really know.
Yeah.
And they about right. You almost there, but you stay in one school a little bit too long,
Exactly.
and you a perpetual sixth grader now.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Right. You ain't got to university or college, so they're going to treat you like the imbecile in law that they assume you is because you know just enough to be dangerous to yourself and others.
Go ahead.
And you got to remember, they only got jurisdiction over minors.
Right. Or
Let that sink in.
that's right. And you incompetent. If you're a minor, they say you incompetent.
Incompetent. Yep.
You don't know enough. You don't know enough to defend yourself. You pretty much a retard. They pretty much saying you retarded, and we gotta talk. We gotta speak for you because you a retard. You know what I'm saying? You because it's like an old person that's got Alzheimer's, so they really ain't all they don't remember. Their mind ain't all the way there, so they gotta need somebody to speak for them. They call that not a trustee. What they call it? Not an attorney. What they call it? Power of attorney. So you need to get power of attorney. You sign the bar up to the bar, the British accreditation registration. Yes,
So,
they all British.
all of that is organized fraud. They the biggest mob on the land. They the biggest mafia on the land.
Right.
Look, what blew the lid off of it, a lot of people don't remember when the police chief from LA came out and said, try me if you want to. I got the biggest gang in the country and we got chapters in every city.
What?
I forgot his name. I think his last name was Gates or Getz.
Yeah, you talking about the same dude that was doing operation? It was like the 80s, 83, 85.
Yeah, but he made that statement around the time of the Rodney King situation.
The Rodney King happened at 90-something, 92.
Yeah.
93, yeah.
90, 91.
Yeah, I did a tape on this guy. I know you talking about Gates. He came right to the guy that's that was involved in recruiting them guys from Mississippi to come up there from the Ku Klux Klan to come up there and be police in the LA police department.
No, he was a Negro.
Who Gates?
Yeah, whatever. I can't remember his name. Somebody gonna put it in the chat.
Ain't never been no chief of police in LA that been black. I mean, during the 80s and 90s.
Daryl Gates, I think was his name. Yeah, Daryl Gates.
He a brother. That ain't no brother. Daryl Gates ain't no brother unless he was light skinned. I got pictures of him in my file. Daryl Gates is a white dude.
The dude that was saying it in the press conference, he was melanated.
Oh yeah, well he probably wasn't Daryl Gates because Daryl Gates was the chief of police of LA during that time of Rodney King. I remember because it came up in the Tookie Williams and Raymond Washington file. I remember him. And before him, All them cats was Ku Klux Klan. Derek Gates is Ku Klux Klan, that guy. Unless you're talking about the other guy, the guy that was infiltrating, that was undercover police working for Crash, and it's another guy named Derek something, and he was a black guy, and he was the one that was infiltrating all the Crip sets and starting wars with the other clans. Going to have a shootout.
Yeah, you can't even look it up now. First thing when you type in LA, is the only thing coming up is Big U.
Yeah, but you can go watch that. You can go watch that Tookie Williams tape I put out. I got pictures of that dude, Derek Gates, in that video. And
it was one of them. It was one of them Negroes. Might have been a lieutenant, but it was one of them Negroes. But it was a message directly from the chief.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
And he was calling out gangbangers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, we don't, like, for instance, the word gang mean tribe. But if you tell somebody that, they look at you like you crazy because they never did the definition of the word. They never looked it up.
Right.
So they don't know that gang mean tribe. So for the purposes of the war, when you can influence the meaning of a word from its original usage to an alternative usage, like the word nigga wasn't always derogatory, and it wasn't always a term of endearment. It went through a phase.
Right.
Where it was what you call a passive word as negro.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then with Southern drawl to it and the way that the usage of the word, it became nagger.
Yeah.
Right? Then it became derogatory when it became applied to the people in a negative manner. Then, if you read Richard Wright, Black Boy, he tell you that they used to call each other nigga so they could show how hard they was and that the word don't hurt them like it do their elders.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So a lot of the culture, the way that we do stuff, anything that's damaging us, we try to figure out how to turn that damage into something that we can prosper from.
Right.
You know, and it found its niche in the hip hop music. When you go to hip hop, when you go to early hip hop, Curtis Blow, Grandmaster Flash, and wasn't none of them saying nigga in the song. Matter of fact, you don't hear your first national nigga song until you hear from a group called Niggas with Attitude.
Right, NWA.
But the whole purpose was that is to show you the power that LA had over the rest of the country. We didn't know LA was culturally as important as it is, and the people in LA are ancient tribes, and they knew they value to each other, but they didn't know they value to the rest of their people.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start putting out a gang like NWA, then you have different groups of people following suit. Right? The first person that was shooting 100 niggas in the song was Kool G Rap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, first gangster rapper was Kool G Rap. Most of us don't know that. Most of us think that gangster rap just spontaneously popped up in the mid 90s, and Kool G Rap was doing that all the way back in the early 80s.
Go ahead.
Right? All he wanted to talk about was putting this steel on your ass.
Right.
You know?
Right, huh?
Yeah, he's the original gangster who decided to write raps.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Kool G, BGF, Blood Oath for life. But a lot of people don't know that some of them West Coast artists was the first ones using the music as the cover for them, like E40.
Uh-huh.
Used music as a cover to connect chiefs behind the scenes all over the country.
Yeah, I can see that. E40.
You know what I'm saying? He was doing it.
L40 water. L40 water.
He was doing it. 40 water is a code. His name is a code.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because the only way to see through the water with 20/20 vision is you got to stack your lenses.
Go ahead.
40 water.
Go ahead. That makes
I
sense.
see clear through the water. Piscean age coming to a close. You know, it's so much to us as a culture that's more than us as an individual from any part of the land.
Right.
You know, most of us don't know Posse on Broadway, Mix-a-Lot. He from Portland, Oregon, some damn where. We thinking he from New York or Philly or something. He from all the way up there in Oregon.
Yeah.
You know, and he look, he was a very, very powerful influence because when you start watching his moves and the people he was hanging out with from his area, he was making stuff happen throughout his community under the cover of music.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He figured it out when he got, what's the man say? The white boy, people think he's funny. He a real estate investor who makes a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Because he was using the one of his guys as the face for his real estate market, but he ain't gonna tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They gonna think my man die hard loyal. That's why he in that position. He ain't trying to run away with the bag.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to make the bag bust open because there's so much in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference between us and the hood versus when we start dealing with those lighter complexion people. I call them the mulatto group now because most of them passing.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that's different about their experience is they understand the value of working together to accomplish a goal. Everybody get to eat at the end, except we think that whoever is in running the mission, that he the only one can eat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't until Big Meat started showing the brothers how to live with wealth, right, that the youngsters started figuring it out.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
Right. I stayed mad at Jeezy for a long time until one of the chiefs told me the code. If your ship burned and you send out a life raft, don't call it back for help because you're going to sink that one too.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm sitting there looking at it. And then I started watching his moves. I said, okay, he's following. If his training wasn't good, he can't make it.
Yeah.
Right. And I had to apologize for not seeing him for who he was, but seeing him for who the system wanted him represented as. It's a whole difference. You know? So when he first came out, I didn't mess with him at all. Now, I can bump all this stuff because I know his angle and I know why he had to move how he had to move when BMF fell.
You think that? I could ask you. Do you think that that when Big Meech got it, was supposed to get released, that the COINTELPRO FBI ran the same tactic they did with Larry Hoover, where they put out the rumor that he was snitching? You think that was a rumor that the feds put out, or was Big Meech really snitching, or did he really work with Tammy?
Listen, I was in prison for 16 years.
Go ahead.
I never seen somebody cooperate and do their whole bit.
Yeah, do 20. Yeah, that makes sense. Go ahead.
I never seen that before. I'm serious. Yeah. I never seen somebody cooperate and then do their whole bit.
Yeah.
Right. I done seen people roll over facing trial and end up with 30 years instead of life. But I've never seen a person that was actively doing their bit and
still do the whole bit.
And still do the whole bit. Because normally what happened is you come in, you get your time, dude get to a certain point, I can't take it no more. Gotta find a way out. And then they see so-and-so they know still out there getting them. They was an enemy anyway. Right? So now they work with him to get him. Then they say, okay, now you go back to court and you get 11 years, 20 years took off your sentence.
Yeah.
I've never seen somebody that's already doing their bit decide to cooperate and then do the whole bit.
Yeah, right.
I never seen it.
He ain't getting nothing out the deal, really.
Now,
He's still in
in
jail.
this
Really.
in this modern age, I can't say it's impossible because people do some weird shit sometimes.
Yeah.
But I never personally seen it. It's beyond my experience to somebody cooperate to do their whole bit.
Yeah.
Also, I never seen somebody that knows somebody a snitch, that somebody else been calling them a snitch, conceal this person until it's convenient for their economics to call them a snitch publicly.
Yeah.
I never seen that before. That's some new shit to me.
Yeah.
You know. So it's a bunch of it could be, but I tell you this, I have not heard that Meech sat on no stand or wrote no statements.
Yeah.
Still. So whatever the lady might have been like, she might have been sweet on Meech.
Yeah.
She could have made deals without his knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't there. But I've seen women of guys doing life bits do some strange things to get him back in the court.
Yeah.
I done seen him seduce judges, seduce prosecutors, you know, have babies by these people at the same time they're trying to get their guy out of prison.
Yeah.
I done seen it. I done seen all of that. I had one old head tell me they had cut his life bit to like 28 years. And he told me that he gonna take care of that baby that she had by that judge like it was his firstborn. He said he don't give a damn about that because he would have never had that opportunity had she not slept with that judge.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, like, where do you draw the line at on somebody trying to help somebody else?
Right.
You know, and the hardest people to help is the ones with what you call a contract on their head. When somebody put a price tag on your head, it's almost impossible to help them, especially for some real money.
Yeah.
You know, in the hood, you can get people that do them $100 hits, some $1,000 hits, crack rock hits. They already gonna go to prison.
Yeah.
Most of them get caught.
Yeah.
But when you start talking about 50,000, 100,000, $250,000 to take you out, now you talking about a whole different group of hitters.
Yeah.
And it's hard to protect somebody from them kind of hitters.
Right.
Don't let them be somebody that get up to $500,000 mark.
Right.
You know, it's difficult to save that person from getting hit by the hitter that's coming. Because you ain't gonna know when he gonna come or how he gonna come.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So once you discover it's a hit on somebody, you're supposed to put them out of the mix. Fake their death if you have to.
Yeah. Machiavelli in this. All through your body. Blows like a 12
You could ride with me now.
Yeah.
Niggas are quick to scream how they die for me now.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you a guy that I like, man. What I've been on this guy for the last. I always liked this guy, but I've been on him hard for like the last couple of days. That Nas be saying some stuff in his raps, man. Like he different from everybody else. Nas.
You don't even know who Nas is. Nas is one of the ancient princes of the land.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Nasir mean the light.
Go ahead.
And he supposed to get right where he at. Now, all of the people that's about something that's right, that want to get in, they got to get the rub from Nas. But if you in there strictly for the money, you got to get the rub from Jigga.
I noticed Nas, well, he moved different. He moved real different than all the other rappers. Like
he got the rub from the real Roxanne. Grew up over there with him in the Queensbridge. One of the great. That's what make Nas so important because who he get the rub by.
Go ahead.
Right, he get the rub by the mother of hip hop, Sylvia. He get the rub by one of the first female MCs that won battle raps against dudes. She the hands down the Big Mama rap. You know, Sylvia was the first. Sugar Hill was the first hip hop record label dedicated to putting out hip hop music. So Nas was able to sit with her and get the rub from Roxanne.
Mhm.
He's destined for greatness at that point. Then his father was an old-time jazz musician.
Right. That's right.
So now he getting the rub off the fatherland from it's already in the blood to the love from the motherland. Talking about keep watch the story, his story. You gonna show her what was that show? It was a show on, and she told Nas, she said, keep practicing. It was her story. Keep practicing, you're gonna be great.
Mm-hmm. Well, you listen to Nas lyrics, boy. Nas better than Tupac. Like as far as they really can't be compared to each other.
Now you about to start a fight.
Tupac was more revolutionary.
Now you about to start a fight.
Tupac was more of a revolutionary in his rap, but
now you about to start it. Now you about to start a fight.
Nas be saying some. Nas be talking about Empress. I mean, say Empress get a cheaper man. That boy, man, you listen to his rhymes. It's just. I like Nas. Nas is my favorite rapper. I like Nas.
Everybody entitled to have their favorite.
Yeah, I like Nas.
Everybody entitled to have their favorite.
Ooh, na, 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 la, 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 la. I like that. That one he did with DJ Khaled.
You know, Tupac in my top 5, but he not my favorite.
Yeah, Tupac. I like Tupac. He in my top 5.
My all-time favorite when I first heard him, I couldn't stop listening.
Who?
How you say? Pick up the mic and add a cigar. Oh, man, I forgot the song. How it start.
Yeah, One Mic.
Oh, that was cold. That One Mic was wicked. That One Mic was. Follow me into a solo, get in the flow, and you can picture like a photo. Music mix mellow, maintain to make melodies for MCs, motivate to break some never last, and I can go on for days and days of rhyme displays that engrave deep as X-rays. I could take a phrase that's rarely heard, flip it. Now it's a deadly word. I could get killer than all my killing and bomb with no alarm. Rock him, I remain calm.
Hey, Rakim got some flow too, though. Rakim up there with see, he come in that same line with Nas and them. All them boys.
You know, he changed rhyme patterns when he came.
Yeah.
He changed because remember, when you listen to early hip hop, Curtis Blow, they only was concerned about the rhyme pattern matching up at the end of the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
When Rakim came in, he was what they call to that. He was making rhymes with the beginning of the sentence to this sentence, with the middle of the sentence to this sentence, and the last one in this sentence to the first one. And he was putting it down. He changed the way people write rhymes. And the only person that was even close was Big Daddy.
Yeah, Big Daddy go hard too. Most of the people was imitating Rakim. Like a lot of the guys that came out, they was imitating the Rakim flow. But then I'm gonna tell you another guy that got some flow though. That people that's Big L. Big L. Like I believe Jay-Z. I don't like Jay-Z like that. Like Jay-Z got some. His name is blown up big. But to me, if you listen to Jay-Z, stole rhymes from everybody. Like, but Big L was the guy.
Well, when Jay-Z came up, they was making the transition from where you wasn't allowed to bite another MC's style or lyrics to where you was quoting MCs. So like in order for you to not be biting, you'd be like, my man Nas said, you know what I mean? And then you could say his bars without it being biting because you gave him his credit. Right. But then when people know my Sycamore style much more sicker than yours, we don't know if it's Jay-Z or if it's Biggie. Who said it first?
Right.
If you don't know who said it first, I can use it.
Right.
That's the era of hip-hop that Jay-Z came up. If you don't remember, you know what I'm saying, Biggie saying it and then Jay-Z said, that's not considered biting in his era.
Yeah. But they got, man, they already caught Jay-Z stealing everybody rhymes. They got a whole tape with Jay-Z where they play somebody that said it first.
I seen it.
Yeah. They
I
got
seen it.
Jay-Z fighting everybody, but mainly
His,
he was fighting
but
Big L.
you know,
He had something to do with Big
he,
L.
look, his claim to fame or his legacy not gonna be music. His legacy gonna be the business behind the music.
Right. I can see that. I can see
That-
that.
Because he was able to branch out in so many different directions.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
He made more
So
money.
how he did his music, ain't nobody gonna remember in 20 years that that 80%, 60%, 40%, whatever percent of his rhymes he took from somebody else, the posterity not gonna remember that. They're gonna remember that he made business moves that got him to a billionaire status club.
Yeah. Right. Right. That's facts. That's facts. Hey man, well we at that 2-hour mark. Hey y'all want to show Rod some love? We got 1,500 people on. Everybody send him $1, man. If you want to send him more, that'll work too. He don't do it for the money, but we show him some love so we can keep this going. Hey, we got to take a couple questions from the crowd, man. Y'all drop some questions in the chat, man. See what we got. Hey, we are Rod, but so what do you think? So where are we at so far as this switch of like the government? We know Trump liquidating everything. They count all the money, making sure it's all there. So what do you see? But that's what I was going to ask you about the foreigners. I think I already asked you about the foreigners coming over and running everything, getting out they all in the stores. But I see a lot of them selling their businesses now, going back to their country. A lot of foreigners since Trump got in office. The dude that used to work. They used to work for his company.
What's going to have a bigger effect on those markets is what China is doing with luxury items that they've been making the whole time. So you put Louis Vuitton made in France on his bag, it just went up from $10 to $10,000 just that quick, right? So that's going to be a devastating blow to a lot of manufacturers or distributors of those type of goods. So that's going to have a trickle down effect. You know, you gotta look at everything cause and effect, right? And to who he say, remember not that I have told you we are cycles within cycles. For to break the cycle, you must see the beginning of the next cycle at the end of the prior cycle. To liberate the mind is to liberate the soul, for it is the soul that is eternal. And the body is infinite. I mean, it's finite. Right? It is the soul that'll carry you from age to age. Know that reincarnation is a fact. Right? And for each gateway that opens, you must close the gateway that you came through before you open the next, lest chaos rush back in upon you.
Go ahead. Makes sense.
Right? So one thing has to finish before the next thing starts. We are here at the close of the age to usher in the old age exit and the new age entrance. By definite marks, you mark the cycle for the return in order to know when to jump the matrix. Jumping the matrix is shifting the timeline. And to shift the timeline is relying upon the collective to consciously be aware that they want to shift to their best life scenario on the greatest timeline. Right? No one man can change the destiny of all, but all can change the destiny of one man in the blink of an eye. For what you know in your heart to be true, conceal it not, for what you see in this world is falsehood manifest. Release the truth in the heart to liberate the souls of the righteous so that righteousness reigns upon the earth. We come not to honor thieves, murderers, and robbers, but to overthrow their regime and raise our children to be love, kind, and compassionate, givers and receivers of good things. For all is within a cycle. That which you put out returns back unto you. This is why it is written, plant thou the good seed that you may reap the good fruit. Therefore, all GMO must go. Genetically modified organisms is not as good as the divinely devised organism.
Mm-hmm.
So what man seek to accomplish of his own is not going to be greater than that which the mother has given. For all sustenance and nourishment comes from the mother, but all correction and guidance comes from the father. So we all want the nurturing, but we don't want the presence of the mother. But we all need the guidance, but we reject the presence of the father. So honor thy mother and thy father, that thy days may be long, that you may live in the balance and harmony of might.
All right, go ahead.
The balance and the harmony comes with balancing your thoughts and your deeds with your manifest actions. Reach not for a man lest he reach back for you.
Go ahead.
All right. It's a two-way street. You have to know how to dance before you can tell which tune needs to be played.
Go ahead.
So when you call up on the DJ, have your selection at hand lest you delay the party from taking place.
Go ahead, Tahuti.
And you all know how we like to party. Some of us even party like a rock star.
Right.
Right. But at the end, in all the combination of the deeds of man, you find that everybody gonna get exactly what they asked for. Ain't nobody escaping without paying for their dirt, and nobody gonna gain without putting in work.
Right.
Right. You can do a good thing in the name of wickedness, and you could do a wicked thing in the name of righteousness. But which one's going to reap the greater reward? Well, one causes you to lose your character, while other causes you to find it.
Go ahead.
Right. And to define the best man is the man that's best to fulfill his own purpose. For he who fulfills his purpose finds greatness at his doorstep. Slumber not, for the time is at hand, when the great mother shall arise and tell you who's the chosen man to carry us back to prosperity from the land.
Go ahead. Tahuti. Tahuti. Tahuti.
Damn, that stuff. Sometimes that shit be weirding me out because I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, he jumped right in on you. Came right in on you. Signing out. Tahuti. We are the T's, and y'all are the rays. You know, the rays of the sun. Yeah, the Tahuti part of the T's. That's the old. That's the older clan. The T's, the Rays, the Does, and the Doe. You know, John Doe. Nobody really know who them people is. John Doe and Jane Does. The Does. Those people.
They sound like dear to me.
Yeah, look, and look, look. They sound like dear to you, right? And they can pass. They can pass for them guys that look like us, but they ain't us.
Hey, and now you know why Bambi Mama got killed at the beginning of the movie.
There you go. There you have it. And on that note, like, you can drop the mic and walk off stage because Tahuti just came in on that one. Everybody know it. That knows Tahuti. You know what I'm saying? If you know Tahuti, you just know he just made his entrance at the last minute. He like to pull them buzzer beaters. He's a buzzer beater type of guy. You know what I'm saying? He like to put 3 seconds on the clock. Tahuti like them 3 seconds on the clock. He swoops. He dances. He crosses him over. He shoots. He scores. Right? That's that last minute shot on the clock. Tell you, like Kobe, baby.
Yeah. So there's gonna be some big announcements coming soon. We're gonna watch and see what they be.
Oh yeah, we'll be back. Hey, we'll be back whenever you're ready, bro. You know, we gotta keep it moving. Non-stop action. Try to keep them babies informed. And on that note, like I said, y'all, we about to get up out of here. We kind of running late, but this was a good one. Thank you, Rod, for coming out. Hey, we want to send love and peace and love to all of y'all that came out to kick it with us tonight. Free Malachi Z. York, free Larry Hoover, free Jeff Ford, right? Free Rashard Jamal, free all the political prisoners or anybody that's claiming to be fighting on our behalf. You know, that's locked up.
Everybody locked up, political prisoners, some knowingly, some unknowingly.
Or prisoners of war. Better word.
That's what makes them political prisoners.
Right.
All POWs are prisoners of war. That's the difference in being a slave and a POW. Remember, before they had prisons, they had state farms. Before they had state farms, they had county farms. Before they had county farms, they had family farms. And all of that went through the plantation cycle in order for you to be deceived into believing that you came from somewhere else in bondage and chains in order to be the servant of somebody else that didn't even know how to wipe his own ass. Come on, man.
Right.
Make it make sense.
Go ahead.
So you gonna tell me some pale face gonna crawl out of cave and conquer some Skywalkers, and ain't no Skywalkers invested in their conquest.
Go ahead.
But my elder told me that Yakub was so disillusioned with how these niggas acted that he decided that he was gonna pull something from you that was gonna bring the worst out you in order to get the best from you in the end. So he decided to graft his own devil. One that genetically inferior, but he's artificially pawned off as being superior.
That make more sense. The Yaku line make more sense than he came out the cave and now all of a sudden he your master. Come on, man.
You say
hey,
it took him.
They took us with this stuff. They tell us, man. They took me.
Elijah said it took them 600 years to graft the devil. Would it take 600 to graft them back? Right.
Yeah.
How long was they in Europe? From 711 to 1492, then they came over here. Right? That's over 700 years right there.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Right? And now, what's left? Graft them back. And already made them. Now they got to unmake them.
They mixed in with us already, though. They got this one drop.
It's the great debauchery. So, in order to get them back, you got to accelerate the process. You got to give them the blood of the original. And you're going to know because the physiology going to change, the character going to change, and they're going to be entirely different people from the people that came.
That's right. And when you cut the music on, they probably can dance now after that one drop. They might cut a rug, or make it whole. They might be on beat after that.
Or, as my man Kango from UTFO said, I can sing, rap, dance in just one show because I'm Kango. I'm so sophisticated. As far as I know, ain't nobody greater from beginning to end and to the beginning. I never lose because I'm all about winning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. And on that note, we out, man. We love you all. We send peace and love throughout the boundless universe to all. Wadu.
I do.